Tom Brady leaning in, whispering something nobody else can hear, a hand resting casually on a waist, cameras flashing, the internet exploding, and suddenly the quietest question in football becomes the loudest one in America. Who exactly is Tom Brady now? Not the quarterback. Not the champion. Not the myth. The man. And when Rob Gronkowski casually laughs on morning television and says single Tom Brady is definitely more fun, it sounds harmless, almost playful, until you realize what he just did. He cracked open a door the Dynasty years kept sealed shut. Because for 2 decades, Tom Brady's life off the field was as controlled as a 2-minute drill, and now that structure is gone. The story everyone thinks they know is about divorce, dating rumors, and celebrity parties. The real story is about identity, timing, and a man learning how to live without football dictating every move. And that part hasn't been talked about nearly enough. When Gronk sat on NBC's Today Show next to Bruce Arians, this wasn't supposed to be a headline moment. Morning television is usually soft questions, smiles, and safe laughs. But the host asked something deceptively simple. Single Tom Brady versus married Tom Brady. Which one is more fun? Gronk didn't hesitate. Definitely single Tom Brady. No pause. No filter. No damage control. And in that instant, the image of Brady that fans held onto for years started to blur. Because Gronk didn't just answer the question. He explained it. He told a story about how the roles flipped. About how when Gronk was young, single, and ready to enjoy life, Brady was married, disciplined, and uninterested in nightlife. Gronk even admitted he thought Brady was lame. That detail matters, because it shows how different Brady was during the Patriots dynasty. He wasn't boring. He was focused. Ruthlessly focused. For years, Tom Brady lived on a schedule tighter than any playbook. Sleep times, diet, training, recovery, film study, family balance, all controlled. His marriage to Gisele Bündchen wasn't just a relationship. It was part of the structure. 2 children, a global brand, a private life that stayed mostly private. And while fans argued about rings, goats, and records, Brady's personal life stayed remarkably consistent. No scandals. No wild headlines. No late-night party photos. That wasn't an accident. That was design. Brady built his entire existence around longevity and control. And control worked. 7 Super Bowls later, nobody could argue with the results. But control comes at a cost. And when Brady retired in February of 2023, the structure collapsed almost overnight. Football had always been the anchor. When that anchor lifted, everything else shifted. The divorce had already happened months earlier, finalized in October of 2022. Brady and Gisele ended a marriage that had defined an era. 2 kids, Benjamin and Vivian, remained the center, but the partnership was gone. And suddenly, Brady wasn't just adjusting to retirement. He was adjusting to a new identity. No locker room. No weekly opponent. No season countdown. Just time. And for someone who spent his life mastering every minute, time can be unsettling. Gronk's comments hit harder because they come from someone who knows Brady better than almost anyone. Not a reporter. Not a fan. A teammate. A brother in the grind. Gronk saw Brady in moments cameras never did. Early mornings. Late nights. Losses. Wins. Stress. Pressure. Obsession. When Gronk says single Tom Brady is more fun, he's not talking about gossip. He's talking about freedom. And freedom is something Brady rarely allowed himself. Even when he left New England for Tampa Bay, that move was strategic. It was about legacy, proving a point, winning without Belichick. And he did that too. Another Super Bowl. Another validation. But even in Tampa, the structure remained. Football first. Everything else second. Now that order has flipped. And the public is struggling to process it. The viral clip from St. Bart's on December 31st wasn't shocking because of what happened. It was shocking because of who it involved. Tom Brady at a New Year's Eve party, leaning in close to Alix Earle, whispering, touching, relaxed. Not staged. Not polished. Human. The internet dissected every frame. The whisper. The hand on the waist. The body language. Fans debated. Media speculated. But the real takeaway wasn't about who Brady was with. It was about how he looked. Comfortable. Casual. Unbothered. That version of Brady was new. Gronk didn't stop with one joke. He went further. He talked about how now Brady goes out every weekend, while Gronk stays home with his girlfriend, Camille Kostek. The irony is almost perfect. Gronk, once the face of wild energy, has settled into stability. Brady, once the symbol of discipline, is exploring life. This reversal says more about timing than personality. Because Brady didn't suddenly change. He delayed. For years, he postponed parts of life most people experience earlier. Nights out, social freedom, exploration. Not because he couldn't, because he chose not to. Football demanded everything. And Brady gave it everything. Since the divorce, Brady has been linked to Irina Shayk, spotted with Alix Earle, and photographed in social settings that would have been unthinkable a decade ago. But this isn't a midlife crisis story. It's a recalibration. Brady didn't lose himself. He finally has space to find himself. And that distinction matters. The media loves easy narratives. Fallen hero, party phase, redemption arc. But Brady doesn't fit neatly into any of those boxes. He's not spiraling. He's experimenting. And for someone who lived by strict rules for so long, experimentation looks dramatic from the outside. Meanwhile, Gisele Bündchen's life took a very different turn. After the divorce, she began dating jiu-jitsu instructor Joaquim Valente. They welcomed a baby in February. She remarried in December. Her chapter moved quickly, purposefully, forward. And that contrast fuels speculation. Did Brady lose something? Did he choose wrong? Did football cost him more than it gave? Those questions linger, but they're incomplete. Because while Gisele built a new family, Brady built a new career. Not just one thing. Several. Lead broadcaster for Fox Sports. Minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Investor in the Las Vegas Aces. Stakeholder in Birmingham City Football Club. Brady didn't stop working. He redirected his focus. This is where the story gets deeper. Brady's post-football life isn't about slowing down. It's about redefining competition. Broadcasting puts him under a microscope again. Ownership puts him in boardrooms. Business demands strategy, patience, and long-term vision. But none of that replaces the emotional release football gave him. The locker room camaraderie. The shared suffering. The clarity of purpose. Dating rumors fill headlines because they're easy. But they're surface level. The real adjustment Brady is making is internal. Who is Tom Brady when he's not chasing a Lombardi trophy? When Sundays don't define him? When his worth isn't measured in wins? Gronk's laugh on that couch wasn't malicious. It was affectionate. It was the kind of laugh that says, I see you enjoying something you never allowed yourself before. And that's why fans reacted so strongly. Because Brady's image was built on sacrifice. And now we're watching the payoff. The nights out. The relaxed posture. The casual moments. They're not a betrayal of the past. They're the result of it. You don't get to enjoy freedom without first earning it. Brady earned it more than anyone. But here's the curiosity gap nobody is talking about. What happens when the fun fades? When novelty becomes routine. When being single stops being exciting. Brady has always chased the next challenge. The next edge. The next mountain. Is this phase a destination? Or just a detour? Gronk's comments hint at something else. He said the roles flipped. But flips can flip back. Brady isn't done evolving. And the next version of him might surprise everyone again. Think about how Brady approached football. Meticulous. Intentional. Patient. There's no reason to believe his personal life will be any different long-term. Right now, the headlines are loud. The whispers are viral. The speculation is constant. But Brady has always moved quietly when it matters most. Big decisions. Career pivots. Legacy moves. Those happen off camera. And while everyone debates who he's dating, Brady is building influence in multiple sports, shaping franchises, and learning a new craft in broadcasting. That's not distraction. That's expansion. Bruce Arians sitting next to Gronk during that interview added another layer. Arians coached Brady in Tampa. He saw Brady in transition. Older. Wiser. Still driven. Arians knows what it looks like when a player struggles with letting go. And Brady didn't. He walked away on his terms. That matters. Many legends linger too long. Brady didn't. He stepped into uncertainty voluntarily. That takes confidence. And confidence often leads to exploration. The internet wants answers. Is Brady happier now? Is he lonely? Is he searching? Is he avoiding something? The truth is probably all of it and none of it at once. Humans aren't linear. Especially ones who lived under extreme pressure for decades. Brady spent 20-plus years delaying gratification. Now he's experiencing it. That doesn't mean he lost his values. It means he's human. Gronk's comment about thinking Brady was lame back then wasn't an insult. It was a snapshot. A reminder of how disciplined Brady was. How unrelatable at times. And now, Brady is becoming relatable in a new way. Flawed, curious, unscripted. That makes some fans uncomfortable. Heroes are easier to admire when they're distant. But distance isn't real. And Brady has always been real behind the brand. As Brady continues his second career, the noise will continue. More photos, more speculation, more commentary. But the real story isn't about who he whispers to at a party. It's about a man learning how to live without the one thing that defined him. And that process is messy. It's awkward. It's public. And it's honest. So when Gronk says single Tom Brady is more fun, he's not celebrating recklessness. He's acknowledging release. The release of pressure, of expectation, of restraint. Brady spent years being the adult in the room. Now he's allowing himself to breathe. And whether this phase lasts months or years, it's part of the story. Not the end of it. The Dynasty years were about control. This era is about curiosity. And curiosity has always driven Brady more than comfort. The next chapter won't look like the last. It never does. But if history has taught us anything, it's that Brady doesn't drift. He decides. Quietly. Intentionally. And when he does, the world notices after the fact. So here's the real question. Not who Tom Brady is dating. Not whether single Brady is more fun. But whether we're ready to let legends evolve without forcing them into boxes. Brady gave football everything. Now he's giving himself something back. And that might be the most human victory of his career. And before you scroll away, I want to hear from you. Do you think Tom Brady is finally enjoying life? Or do you think this is just a temporary phase before his next massive move? Drop your take in the comments, because this conversation is just getting started, and the Brady story is far from over.